Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Lana Peterson, and I'm a Professional Development Manager at National Youth Leadership Council, the host of today's webinar. And today we have the privilege of meeting somebody who actually met at the National Service Learning Conference, Cody Logsdon, who is currently the Associate Director for the U.S. Volunteer Programs at Habitat for Humanity International. And as a part of her role, she oversees Habitat's national youth programs and the RV Caravanner program as well. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Cody. There may be a few more people joining us along the way, but we'll welcome them as they come. So Cody, you can take it away whenever you're ready. And Cody, I'm just going to need you to turn on your mic one more time, too. Your mic was turned off while we were waiting. So.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay, I'm
yep,
so sorry about that. Okay, well, thank you so much for everyone taking the time out of their busy schedules to join me today. And I thought it was such an honor to be asked by the National Youth Leadership Council to lead a webinar session, so thank you. So as Lana said, my name is Cody Logsdon, and I have worked with Habitat's youth programs for the past 7 years. And I started right out of college. I was serving as an AmeriCorps Vista, and I worked with a Habitat affiliate that was based out of Rochester, Minnesota. And as part of my job plan, I was asked to develop and coordinate a Youth United program, which you'll learn more about in just a little bit. But as part of that program, we work to mobilize local youth to sponsor and build Habitat for Humanity homes. And so I ended up loving it so much, working in the Rochester community and working with the young people in that community, that I ended up serving 2 terms there. And in those 2 years, we were able to mobilize almost 2,000 youth in the Rochester area, and we're able to raise $65,000 and build 2 Habitat for Humanity homes. And I love the enthusiasm and the energy and the commitment and the passion that the young people brought. And so I kind of caught what we call here at Habitat, the Habitat bug, or some people call it Habitatitis. And applied for a job with the international office, which is where I work now. It is also our U.S. office's headquarters. And we have 2 offices, one that is based in Atlanta and one that is based in Americus, Georgia, where we are founded, and that is where I am based as well. And so that's a bit of my history, but I wanted to give you a little bit of Habitat's history and give you a little bit of a Habitat quick 101 review. And just to start, I kind of wanted to take a poll and ask how many of you have had a chance to already volunteer or be with Habitat for Humanity at the local or even the national or international level. Okay. So I see 1 yes and 2 no's so far. So it looks like not a lot of involvement out of this group, so that's great. I mean, it's not great, but it's great because a lot of this information will be new to you. And so just to get started and to bust some of those myths that are out there, The first one that people usually think of when they think of Habitat for Humanity is they usually think of President Jimmy Carter, and they think of him as being the founder of Habitat for Humanity. And he is Habitat's most famous volunteer, but he did not actually found the organization. It was founded by a man named Miller Fuller alongside his wife Linda Fuller, and it was actually founded back in 1976. Jimmy Carter did jump on board with this in 1984, and as I already said, he is our most famous volunteer. He really put our organization on the map, and he does continue every year to host an event that is called the Jimmy and Rosalynn Carter Work Project. And so it varies, the location of the event varies, but it's a 1-week build, and this year is actually going to be in Haiti next month, and I know that there are still spots available, so if any of you would like to take a week and build with President Carter in Haiti, please check out our website to see if you would be able to go. The next thing that I wanted to highlight is that we are a Christian housing ministry, and I don't think many people do know that. Our roots are very much based in a Christian foundation, but we are ecumenical, which means that we do partner with people from all faiths and backgrounds, because we do truly believe that we should partner and serve all God's people in need. We have been able to build over 500,000 decent, affordable houses and serve 2.5 million people worldwide. And so not many people may know of our efforts outside of the U.S., but we do actually have a presence in 80+ countries worldwide. Through our volunteer labor and donations of money and materials, Habitat builds and rehabilitates simple, decent houses alongside our homeowner partner families. And Habitat houses are sold to partner families at no profit and financed with affordable homes, or affordable loans, sorry. And so that is probably one of the biggest myths out there. I think a lot of people usually assume that Habitat for Humanity builds homes and gives them away to low-income or poor people. And that is not true. We actually partner with the families. The families purchase the homes, and they are just simply more affordable because they are built by the community and by volunteer labor. And we do not charge any interest on the homes, and so that again also makes the homes much more affordable. In addition to buying the homes, the families also partner with us to put in what we call sweat equity. And so each family is required to put in a certain number of hours building their own homes, or building their own home, or helping to build somebody else's Habitat home. So our mission is seeking to put God's love into action. Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope. And so volunteerism is very much a big part of that, bringing people together part of our mission. And youth volunteers are no exception to this. And I am so grateful that I get to work for an organization that puts a lot of importance on involving youth in our mission and just involving them in service. And so in our department, we see ourselves as responsible for finding ways for young people to be involved in Habitat's mission through 4 functions of fundraising, building, advocacy, and education. We also see ourselves as essential to engaging a valuable audience that would otherwise go without support or programs. And we are also hitting a big milestone this year because we are celebrating 25 years of youth programs. Our first, we call them campus chapters, which I will explain to you in a little bit. Our first campus chapter was started at Baylor University in Texas back in 1987. And so actually next month we will be having a big celebration along with our Youth Leadership Conference. So building societal impact. We are actually just finishing up the process of putting together our strategic plan for 2014-2018, and volunteer engagement is a big focus for our strategic plan, and it falls under this section of building societal impact. And so we put a lot of focus into how do we take the person who is coming to us as a volunteer and really engage them and mobilize them to use their hearts, their hands, and their voices to really drive our mission. And so how do we give this experience that really deepens their understanding of the need for affordable housing and really mobilizes them to take action, whether it's through building or through advocacy efforts, and then using their voice to change policies, systems, and attitudes, and really become our advocates and our ambassadors of our programs. We have what we call a volunteer continuum, which really ranges all the way down to 5 years of age, all the way up to 80 plus. And so obviously that beginning section really starts with our department when we are engaging youth ages 5 to 25 in programs such as Youth United, Collegiate Challenge, and campus chapters. But we try to be very intentional that although a young person may start at this level and at these programs, we want them to continue their involvement with Habitat even after they graduate, either high school or college. And we're hoping that they continue to either be involved at the local level by serving on their Habitat board, or being part of a women build, or being a part of AmeriCorps, all the way up until they're at the retirement age and they're becoming an RV caravanner, which is another program we have here where it's mostly retired folks who just travel around in their RVs and build at different Habitat affiliates all across the U.S. It's something that I aspire to be someday. We also have this volunteer continuum pyramid. So again, we are also very intentional about how we take that first-time volunteer who is maybe stepping foot on our work site and growing them to be a leader and an advocate and an ambassador of our ministry. And so a student may go 1 year on a Collegiate Challenge trip, which is basically our alternative spring break program. And that may be their first experience with Habitat for Humanity. But how are we providing them an experience where they go back from that trip and they start a campus chapter at their school, or maybe they are the leaders for a Collegiate Challenge trip the following year. So we want to be continually engaging them and growing and developing them as leaders. So these are some of the programs that we are going to focus on during this webinar, ranging all the way from advocacy, campus chapters, Collegiate Challenge, Global Village, our Learn and Build experience. I want to tell you about some of our service learning efforts, go over our Youth Leadership Conference, which is coming up next month in just a couple of weeks, and also our Youth United program. So who do we work with? We really have a very broad audience. We work a lot with grade schools, so K through 12 schools, but we also work with trade schools, colleges, universities. We really work to engage churches and faith-based organizations, youth organizations, all the way from Girl Scouts to Boy Scouts, government programs such as Youth Build, service learning organizations, and then also Habitat homeowner youth, which are the children of Habitat families. So the first program, the first official Habitat for Humanity International youth program that I wanted to go over with you is called Youth United. It is a program that helps youth raise money and build habitat houses in their neighborhoods. And this is the program that I already told you about a little bit about. It was a program that I worked with when I did AmeriCorps in Rochester, Minnesota. And so Youth United is a youth-led volunteer program that mobilizes youth ages all the way from 5 to 25 in Habitat for Humanity's mission. And so the youth that are 5 to 15 can be very much involved in the planning and the fundraising, the public relations, but then the youth ages 16 to 25 are the ones that help build the houses. And so for those youth that are not able to get on the work site, we try to be very intentional about making sure that we still have activities that are very engaging so that we can continue to involve them in our mission. And so some examples of those activities would include something that we call Lego builds, which are basically kind of like a regular home blitz build, but instead of actually getting out on the work site, students will get together and maybe have a contest of building houses out of Legos, and they can either make it a fundraiser or they can just simply make it an awareness event. And I see some of them get very creative and give out awards for the house that looks the most energy efficient, or lots of different ways that they can be rewarding students for creativity. They can also make scrapbooks for the partner families because it can be quite an emotional process for a family to go through in getting a habitat home, because they are, as we already mentioned, they are helping to build their home, and they're also taking homeowner education classes. And so they're building these relationships and getting ready sometimes to be first-time homeowners. And so it's really great to have young people that can help document this for them and put it together and present it to them during the house dedication. These younger generations really seem to be digital natives, and so it's really great to utilize some of those skills when it comes to designing a website or creating and maintaining social media sites for their local Habitat affiliate. With the popularity of smartphones that have the ability to take photos and videos, you can really encourage youth to be kind of unofficial reporters and be out on the sites taking photos, taking videos, and posting them to the websites or to the social media vehicles that the affiliates use. The Paper House campaign is actually an advocacy activity where youth can actually cut out paper houses. And if we go back to slide number 3, this class was actually doing a paper house campaign. And so this girl cut hers out and was probably next going to be coloring the house, and then we have letters that are available online that are designed and written to go to elected officials, elected representatives, letting them know about the need for affordable housing and really mobilizing them to take action. And so students can make their paper house campaign and include that with their letter to their elected official. Next we have the Welcome Home Housing Simulation, and this is one of our most popular educational activities. And actually this picture here down in the right corner is a Welcome Home Housing simulation that was taking place during our Youth Leadership Conference a couple of years ago. And what happens is we have we have volunteers that will play the roles of different housing organizations. And so there will be a normal a house realtor. There will be kind of an apartment landlord. There will be public housing represented, a women's shelter, a rescue mission, Section 8. And so the students are each given a role as someone who is put in the situation of not having housing. So it can either be that their house burned down, or that they are going through a divorce, or there was a natural disaster, things like that. And so their objective is to try to find housing. And we try to make it as real for them as possible, but still being sensitive to the fact that although the roles that they're giving are made up, maybe sometimes they might hit a little close to home. So always making sure that we're sensitive about that, and trying to be very serious and give them just a chance to walk in somebody else's shoes. Next, we have the Habitat Restore. So restores are becoming increasingly popular. They are, to give you kind of an example or a look into what a restore is if you don't have one in your area or you've never heard of them. It's kind of a Salvation Army or Goodwill / Home Depot. And so we take donated materials, building materials. Sometimes we even take furniture, and we sell them back to the community. And the money that is made from that goes towards building habitat houses in that community. And so we will encourage students to volunteer at the restore, either stocking shelves, working behind the counter, just helping with general customer service and answering questions. And then the last one on here is called Shantytown. This is where students will actually take cardboard boxes and turn them into houses, and they will they usually do this on a college campus and like the main quad, and they will sleep in these cardboard boxes overnight. And they see this as a way to raise awareness about the need for affordable housing. And then there is usually an advocacy activity that is attached to this, whether it's a letter writing campaign or a petition, or something like that, maybe a paper house campaign as well. So those are just a few examples. Next is our Campus Chapter program. Campus Chapters are student-led, student-initiated organizations on high school or college campuses that partner with the local Habitat affiliate to advocate, educate, build, and fundraise. And we do have over 500 active campus chapters across the United States at this time. All of our campus chapters are posted on our website. So if students at the high school or college level are maybe thinking about starting a Habitat campus chapter or club or something similar, we do encourage them to visit the website to see if there already is one in their area. Next is our Learn and Build experience. This is usually either a 1-week or a 10-day, or for our international, they can be 2-week trips. And these trips are specifically for high school students. So we only accept students between the ages of 16 and 18. And what this usually looks like is they go on a build, either a domestic, or we have a couple of sites at the international level as well. And they will spend the day building out on the work site. And then usually in the afternoon and at night, we are having them do community activities so that they are getting to know the area where they are serving. And then we are also doing educational activities with them as well. So we want them to be learning about poverty housing and poverty in general. And we want them to be learning about advocacy and about sustainable building and microfinance, and also just how to be a global citizen. And so the trips are very affordable. There is a trip fee of $550 per participant. This does not include airfare, but we also do have a lot of scholarships that are available for participants as well. Our Collegiate Challenge, this is usually better known as our alternative spring break program. So students can use their breaks to go on a volunteer trip with Habitat for Humanity. And although most people think of only spring break, we do actually do trips all year round. So we will do fall, summer, winter trips along with spring. And in order to go on a Collegiate Challenge trip, you have to have a group of 5 students or more. And so it could be a school group, it could be church, it could just simply be a group of friends. There just has to be 5 or more. And these trips are open to students ages 16 to 25. If any of the students are under the age of 18, then we do have a ratio where we ask for every 5 youth that are under the age of 18 that they have 1 chaperone who is 25 years of age or older. But we do have quite a few sites across the U.S. We have about 200 Habitat affiliates that host Collegiate Challenge. And this past year, we sent out about 775 trips total and had about 11,000 students participate, which is amazing. And the fee, there is a registration fee of $30 per person, and then there is a donation that goes towards the affiliate, and the affiliate sets that donation amount. So it's usually anywhere between $150 to $200 per person. Global Village. So whereas Collegiate Challenge is our alternative spring break program and is solely domestic, Global Village is kind of our short-term mission program. And so in addition to doing a domestic trip, these trips also go outside of the U.S. And these trips are available to anyone ages 18 or older. There are some programs that will accept participants that are under the age of 18, but it usually caps at about the age 16. And some programs will require that if anyone is at the age of 16 or 17, that they have to have a parent or guardian that will go with them. The trips are usually 10 to 16 days in length. The costs vary per trip, but the trip cost does cover everything, including lodging, food, in-country transportation, trip insurance, and also a donation to the host affiliate. The one thing it does not cover is airfare. That is something separate that has to be booked separate. Young professionals. This is actually one of our newest initiatives, and it's actually so new that it isn't officially recognized as a Habitat for Humanity international program. It is very much at the grassroots level right now, but they're starting to kind of pop up everywhere, and they're really driven by the local Habitat affiliates. And so the vision for the young professional groups is to raise money, awareness, and volunteerism for Habitat for Humanity. And their long-term vision is that these members will become ambassadors for the Habitat cause, transitioning into strong, prominent roles on local affiliates boards and within their communities. We currently have about 27 active young professional groups across the United States. And a lot of affiliates are really driving the young professional networks because they're starting to see this need where most of their volunteers are retired, usually retired gentlemen on the work site. And although that is a fantastic core group of volunteers for them, they do see the the great rate of return in investing in having a wider and more diverse youth demographic. And so engaging some of these younger demographics will help with the sustainability of their organization. So advocacy, this is also a big part of our strategic plan. And as I already mentioned, we do want to take our volunteers and really engage them and mobilize them to use their hearts, hands, and voices. And this advocacy definitely falls under that voice category. And so to give young people something very tangible and concrete, we developed this event called Act, Speak, Build Week. And so it is a student-initiated week of advocacy. Youth groups can register and sign up to host their own Act, Speak, Build Weeks at the local level. And once they register, we do send them promotional materials. We send them stencils. We send them stickers and one-pagers that will talk about things like how to push forward affordable housing and the Millennium Development Goals, and how to support national service programs as well. And so this event is open to all groups, ages 5 to 25. And this year's 2013 Act, Speak, Build Week event will be taking place March 31st through April 6th. And to register, all you have to do is go to our website and just fill out a questionnaire, a very short one, and we will send you the promotional activities. Teacher and youth leader resources. So we do have a website that is solely focused on youth programs, and we do have a section that is developed specifically for teacher and youth leader resources. And so as part of that, we have elementary, middle school, and high school curriculum that is available. We do have non-worksite build instructions for youth, and so we have projects like how to build a bench or a birdhouse, things like that on our website. We have thank you cards, we have fundraising projects, we even have virtual games. The games will simulate things like the Restore, and students can go on and they can do things like stock pipes or take in donations like unused toilets and things like that, and see how that has an effect on the waste that is being saved from the landfill and gain points. And they're really fun. They're a great thing to do if you have maybe 15 minutes and just want to do something kind of fun. Service learning. So we do encourage schools to partner with their local Habitat affiliates for service learning projects. And these projects, a lot of the common ones include, of course, building a house. So we've had a lot of technical schools that will partner with Habitat for a service learning project. Even, at a high school level, a carpentry class. I'm sorry, something just popped up. Hold on a second. Oops. Even a carpentry class or a tech class, or actually any type of class. Building a house, there are just many different ways that you can integrate curriculum and learn. We've had some groups that will partner with the Habitat affiliate and do landscaping, and the teacher will have the students learn about what type of native grasses or what type of plants take the least amount of water or need the least amount of sunlight or the most amount of sunlight, and they'll landscape a home for a Habitat family. Community gardens. These have become very big with Habitat affiliates. They're starting to realize that a lot of their families, or even just families in general in their community, even the ones that maybe aren't applying for Habitat homes, some of them may not have vehicles, access to a vehicle or public transportation. And so maybe a lot of their shopping has to be done at the local 7-Eleven. And so students can learn about, what does a person's diet look like when they have to do their shopping, their grocery shopping at the local 7-Eleven. And how can a community garden provide more nutritious options to a family or to a community. And so some of the educational materials that we can provide include our service learning guide, which is tailored towards Habitat projects, the Habitat curriculum that I already mentioned. We also have some more not manageable, but there's shorter educational activities. Because some of the feedback that we hear from teachers about our curriculum is that if a lesson plan is already set for the year, sometimes it's hard to integrate a whole curriculum into that plan. And so having just some activities that they could pull and do for a day or maybe a week is a lot more handy. And so we have all of that, our curriculum and our educational activities on our website, totally free and easily and ready to be downloaded. Finally, our Youth Leadership Conference, which I already mentioned previously, it's very exciting this year because as I already mentioned, we are celebrating 25 years. And so as you can see, our identifier here definitely highlights that. And our theme for this year, of course, is building on 25 years. But our conference will be taking place November 2nd through 4th in Peachtree City, Georgia. The conference is open to all partners over the age of 14, including our campus chapter leaders, Collegiate Challenge participants, Youth United members, affiliate staff, youth advisors, teachers, youth leaders. Everyone is welcome to come. They can register on our website, and I think the fee at this time is $160 per person. So how to keep youth engaged. I included this slide because it was actually, the design was developed for me by a group of youth that I had worked with in Rochester. And so I'm always constantly asking young people, how can we do a better job at keeping you engaged? And so these are some of the things that they gave me. And of course I modified some of the language so that it would fit better into the boxes. But some of it I didn't. I just left it the way that they gave it to me. The first thing they said is that idle hands are B&B, which stands for Bad News Bears. And so as you can see in the background of the slide, that is the movie Bad News Bears. I think it's the newer version, not the one with Walter Matthau. So definitely giving volunteers something to do is always important. I think probably the worst thing that I can ever see when I go on a Habitat work site is somebody who is just standing there with nothing to do. I always immediately correct that, and I always encourage the people that I work with to do the same. We always want to keep people busy. And along with that, the second box down on the left, making sure the projects you give them make them feel special. And so I think that young people especially, they like to know how they are making a difference. They definitely like to be motivated intrinsically. And so letting them know that you're not just shoveling rocks you are making the difference in the life of a family, and this is how. That you aren't just spending time with these other volunteers on the work site or spending time with this Habitat family. You are building and developing and creating relationships. And that's really important to young people, to have that feeling of accomplishment and that they are making a difference. If they stop coming to any of the events that you are planning, or if they were a part of a steering committee and all of a sudden their attendance is dwindling, I always say give them a holler. A lot of people, if somebody stops attending, will kind of just let it go because they don't want to feel like they're nagging someone. But I always say, you know, no, we definitely need to be reaching out to them because we want them to be involved. And some of the feedback that I've heard from students when I do this is that they really, you know, it showed that we cared and it showed that we noticed their presence and that we valued them. Pick out activities that are productive. This is something that I've run into on a few of our Habitat work sites, but because we do have restrictions on youth that are under the age of 18, we have this policy that young people are not able to use power tools or be on ladders over a certain height. And so a lot of affiliates will take that to mean that they can't do a lot of the other building aspects as well, which is not true. But sometimes it's either they have a misconception or they're just really busy. And so they may give them something like shoveling rock for 5 days, which is fine. But we want to make sure that you know, the students see that this is something that is actually helpful and it's not just busy work that they are being given, because that is something that you know, they see through very clearly and very quickly. Check your own attitude. So young people will only be as excited as we are. And so, I mean, they're just so impressionable. They're always watching what we are doing and how we're reacting. So I always try to have a great attitude and to be very excited whenever we're on the work site or at a fundraising event, or at a Shantytown event, sleeping in cardboard boxes. Always trying to check myself and make sure that I'm giving a genuine, you know, excited feeling. And finally, staying away from tangible gifts. We certainly do like to give young people things like T-shirts or give them pizza if they are at a late meeting or something like that. But giving too many tangible gifts can sometimes take away that intrinsic motivation that you're here to make a difference. And that is the motivation that you want to be giving young people, because that is what will sustain them with your organization. Finally, I just asked some of my other staff members for some tips on how to work with youth. And so they gave me a few tips back. And so I was just going to read through some of them very quickly. Evan Davies, who works with our Learn and Build Experience program, he was the first one to send me back quotes, which isn't surprising. He always is. And he said, first of all, be genuine. He said most kids see through facades. And speaking to kids, don't be long-winded. Use diverse platforms to keep interest. He said students like to feel like adults and want to be treated like adults, but can sometimes fall short because they aren't adults yet, and that we should try to support them in that, but also not be disappointed with them. And then also keep in mind that youth are very multidimensional, and he says that they seem to be even more complex and have more layers than ever before, which I think couldn't be more true. And then Rebecca Mcwhorter, who is our current manager of youth volunteer engagement, The feedback she sent me was working with youth can be challenging as they are all involved in many different things from school to sports and other clubs, and they aren't focused on one particular activity, so you have to be flexible in your approach with youth. They want to know that their voice is heard, even if you can't always give them exactly what they want. And finally, these are just some resources that are available. We have our youth programs website, which is listed at the very top. We also have an open Facebook group that anyone can join, which is located at that link right there in the middle of the page. We also have a Twitter handle that folks can follow, which is @HabitatYouth. We also have a youth programs update, which is our monthly e-newsletter, and folks can click on that link, or they can simply email us at join-ypupdate@lists.habitatforhumanity.org and just send us their name and email, and we will go ahead and sign them up for the update. And that was my last slide. So I am happy to answer any questions that folks may have at this time.
Hi, Cody. And as some of the questions come in, this is Lana from National Youth Leadership Council. I just want to thank you for taking the time to share with us your youth programs. It looks really exciting, and even some of the specific examples of activities are things that people can apply to projects happening within their own community as well too. So that's really exciting. And if anybody does have questions, they should send them through the chat box. I'm also going to be putting up the survey for today's webinar as well. But thank you again, Cody.
Thank you.